What's going on, Fitness Feast fam? How y'all doing? Happy Talk Tuesday. Just me today. If you're disappointed, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep it lively and entertaining as possible, or as lively and as entertaining as possible. So today's topic, drum roll please. Intermittent fasting for muscle gains. All right, so intermittent fasting, we've been talking about it for the past couple weeks. I decided to turn it into a little mini series, and this is kind of the capstone on this mini series for now. One of my favorite things to talk about is the intermittent fasting eating structure. So if you haven't read our blogs before, those are kind of prerequisites for this. So make sure that you read those. The first one is just an introductory. What is intermittent fasting? What does it look like? What does it do? What's the structure look like? And how can it be useful for you? The second part of the series was about intermittent fasting for weight loss. That's a really popular one because it's one of those eating structures that will really do a lot for you and your mentality, your approach, your caloric deficit, all that kind of stuff. So read that one as well. And then we get my favorite one, which is intermittent fasting for muscle gains. So personally, this is actually the diet, the eating structure that I've been following for about three or 4 years now. And I love talking on it because I think that a lot of people perceive intermittent fasting as only being useful for losing weight, when in fact you can utilize intermittent fasting for gaining size while remaining lean. I just wanted to expand on it a little bit more because this is something that I live. I come from a history of a somewhat negative relationship with food. I would binge eat a lot. Now I don't say it was quite like bulimia or something like that, but it was to the point where I would binge eat. I would skip several meals and then I'd have like one massive meal. And so kind of like making that transition into intermittent fasting was easier for me. And I think I find that it's been easier for a lot of my clients and a lot of people that, are busy, and that's kind of something that I see as a common trend in society today. And so this is a very useful, powerful diet that I just want to shed some light on. When it comes to intermittent fasting for muscle growth, for muscle gain, the timing is crucial. So you can really utilize intermittent fasting to your benefit for muscle gaining when it comes to timing, breaking your fast with the end of your workout. So if you're having like a fasted workout, right? Fasted cardio, I don't do it. I would say that I do some kind of a fasted cardio. It's just fasted exercise, okay? I'm not gonna go fasted and go on the Stairmaster or the elliptical or some kind of steady state cardio. I'm not gonna do that. That's not how I utilize intermittent fasting for muscle gains. I will go do resistance exercise, sometimes like a HIIT kind of session, but I intermittent fast every day, so it's not super strict with me. I've been doing it for so long now that my body is at a point where I don't need to be that strict with it. But I think it's helpful to utilize the structure as closely as you possibly can to what it should be. So that's 16 hours fasted, the rest of the day you're eating. So how do we utilize that for muscle gain? Well, it's pretty simple. You make sure that you break your fast after you work out. And I've noticed that over time with myself, with my clients, this works the best. Especially if you have like a regular 8 to 4 schedule, you could just imagine your eating schedule being the same as your work schedule. So for those 8 hours that you're at work, you're eating, okay? Which means that you break your fast right before you go to work, which means that you work out before you go to work. So that means that if you work from 8 to 4, you would work out somewhere around 6, 5, something like that in the morning. And then after you're done working out, you have your biggest meal. So this is how we utilize intermittent fasting for muscle gain. You have a big meal, a big breakfast, lots of carbs and lots of protein. Depending on your work schedule, depending on your life schedule, it could be better. It could serve you better to do it after you work. But I've noticed that it's really just there's a lot more benefits physiologically to working out and training in the morning your brain activity goes up something like 10% whenever you work out before your day, like before you start your day. So I'm always going to be a massive supporter of working out before you go into work, and having that big breakfast to fuel you throughout the day. Then you can eat, you can munch and snack. The thing about intermittent fasting for muscle gain is that you can still be in a caloric deficit and build. Okay, that's the place that I've been in for the past couple of years now. I have, if I'm being honest, I think I've been in a caloric surplus maybe a sixth of the time. It's not often that I'm in caloric surplus. I'm nearly always in a caloric deficit, and that's how I stay lean, that's how I stay skinny. I'm always in a deficit. So the thing about it is that I'm really hungry, so I'm always eating. But it's okay because I stay lean. When it comes winter time, I'll get closer to, I won't be as strict about what I'm eating. But because I'm intermittent fasting, I have more wiggle room to be able to do that. So when it comes to intermittent fasting for muscle gain, you got to make sure that your meal after you work out, your body has your glycogen is depleted, your energy stores, you need to get that back. So you got to have your carbs, you got to have things that are going to break down slowly. And you want those 8 hours to be full of food. And if you have to, shakes. If you're working, it's usually the most convenient to have shakes in between. And I'm okay with that as long as you're on top of what kind of shakes you're drinking. You got to make sure that the shakes that you're drinking are going to be, low glycemic. You don't want to have shakes that are too high in carbs, because a lot of times I've noticed over the years that those shakes will just have a lot of fillers and sugars, the carbs that you don't really need. So you want to make sure that whenever you're looking at your protein, that you have loads of micronutrients. Don't just look at the macronutrients. Everybody just wants to look at the macronutrients, the protein, the fat, and the carbs, right? But you gotta look at your micronutrients. What does the magnesium look like? What does the potassium look like? What does the B12 look like? What does the vitamin D look like? All these things are gonna play a key role in your recovery. So if you're gonna be having, your protein be a big part of your feeding space, your eating time, you got to make sure that it's loaded with those things that are going to fuel your recovery, because you don't have a lot of time outside of those 8 hours to get those nutrients in, those micronutrients. Pay attention to the micronutrients. That's energy and recovery, okay? So make sure you look at those things. The intermittent fasting for muscle gain is easy, guys. Like, I love it because it allows me the freedom to not stress about what I'm eating. And if I'm having a big meal, I'm not going to feel bad about it after I've worked out and I've been fasted. So if I'm working from 8 to 4, which that's not my schedule, but this is just like the most common schedule, or 9 to 5 or whatever it is. If I'm working in that time, it's the easiest to optimize a schedule based around that work schedule. And this has worked for dozens of hundreds of clients of mine. And so it means that it can work for you too if that's the kind of schedule that you work with. It just means that you have to be more diligent. It can save you more time because you meal prep. Let's say you meal prep your lunches, you meal prep this, that, the other, or you have fitness fees do it for you. Something that we've been doing a lot lately is dropping off meals and lunches and dinners to people's workplace. And I've noticed that people seem to really be catching on to this, and they'll just leave our food in their fridge, their work fridge in the break room, and not have to think about it. It's mindless. It makes it easy. But whatever it is your process, whatever it is that you do, you gotta optimize it so it's sustainable. It's gotta be fun, and it's gotta be realistic. If it's too hard for you to set aside time on Sundays or Mondays or Saturdays or Tuesdays, whatever it is, keep it nice and simple, okay? Optimize your process, audit your time, audit the way you're spending your time. If something's not working, if the results aren't happening, if you're not motivated, if your program isn't sustainable, if you're not able to stay consistent with your goals and your nutrition and all of this stuff because of time spent trying to figure out when can I prep this, that, the other, you really don't like prep, get some fitness fees, okay? Put it in your work fridge, put it in your regular fridge, do it on your own. You gotta be consistent. So whatever you can do to make it the easiest for yourself to be consistent throughout this whole process, the better it's gonna be for you guys, I promise. The biggest thing when it comes to health and fitness and wellness and your whole journey with this new, or maybe not so new, facet of your life is to make sure that you're creating sustainable habits and that it's fun, you know what I mean? And like I said, part of that sustainability is fun. I'm always talking about that. I have fun. You know, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm in the gym, I'm having a great time. I enjoy meal prepping, I enjoy spending time with Jazz in the kitchen, cooking and all that stuff. So just make sure that you audit your time. Look at how you're actually spending your time, how you're actually spending your money and your effort ultimately. How well are those things optimized for your regular life, for your work schedule, for your gym schedule? Are the things working cohesively? Are you happy? If you're not, then reevaluate. How do I make myself more happy? Do I change the way that I'm training? All this stuff. So the intermittent fasting and all that is great, but it means nothing if you have no higher calling, you know what I mean? If you have no higher incentive or reasoning for it, you know, it can't just be a fad, a trend. You can't just do it because you broke up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend and you're trying to figure out, okay, you know, how can I get them back, or you're in this low self-loathing period or whatever it is. It's got to be a lifestyle. You have to buy into it for it to truly work, for you to truly see those kinds of gains, for you to truly see the transformation, guys. All right, so stay consistent. That's all it is, okay? So intermittent fasting for muscle gains, again, to wrap it up real quick, all you got to do is eat big after you work out, okay? Time your workouts to where you can have a big, nice carb, protein heavy meal, and then eat for 8 hours after that. Nice and simple. If you can do it with your work schedule, great. If not, that's fine. Just figure out whatever works the best for you. Something that you can stay the most consistent with, okay? That's all I got for you guys. I wanted to keep this one nice and short and sweet short and sweet and to the point, okay? So if you have any questions, drop a comment down below. If this helped you, I hope it did. Share it again. If it didn't help you, if you didn't learn, watch it again. Because there's lots of great content, lots of great stuff, points that I've talked on, and things that I've learned over time, you know, with myself and with my clients. So yeah, just keep it real, guys. Keep it real. All right, I'm gonna talk to y'all soon. Happy Talk Tuesday. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.